More than 48 hours after the Independent National Electoral Commission declared the APC candidate, Monday Okpebolo, winner of the Edo State governorship election, opinions have differed tremendously. While some have argued that it was a largely peaceful and free election, others have said the exercise was fraught with irregularities, noting that INEC had a poor outing, making the election one of the worst conducted in Nigeria. Well, Niyi Akinsiju is the APCs Strategy to the APC national chairman, and he joins us now on Arise News to speak on the party's victory in the Edo State governorship election, allegations of irregularities leveled against the party, and what made the victory possible. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.
It's a privilege. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'd like you to react to reports from civil society organizations and, of course, the other candidates that the results of the Edo State election were altered and that it lacks legitimacy.
Well, there are legal and regulatory bases for condemnation and, of course, conclusions on the character and nature of every election in Nigeria. And that is guided more or less by the Nigerian Constitution and the Electoral Act 2022. In many ways, there was full compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act. And to a large extent, there was a consensus, at least in the first, between 8 a.m. in the morning to about 2:30, 3 p.m. in the evening, when voting concluded, that the conduct of the election was very, very peaceful. It was a consensus around the state. And of course, I was physically on ground. The truth of the matter is that many people around the state were actually anxious, of the possible nature of how the election will be conducted. By the end of it, everybody heaved a sigh of relief, and of course, going into the counting, we didn't hear of any form of trouble around the collation centers until later in the evening when, of course, we had the governor, the sitting governor, storming the office of the INEC in the state. And of course, we also had a lot of threats, around the collation center in Ikpobaoka and in Oredo. So eventually we had that the returning officer in his wisdom determined and decided to relocate the collation, of the election in those two local governments to the state office. And I think it was also in compliance mainly for the possible threat to the lives of the INEC officials and the collating team at that level.
And what did APC do to ensure its victory in this election? Because we all know it was hard fought and we see the fallout now. What were some of the strategies that were implemented, do you think, that were the winning ones? The election was for the APC to win. Going into that election, you had a formidable united front. The APC presented a formidable united front of all power forces and power centers in the state, starting from the leader, of the party in the state, that's the distinguished Senator, Excellency Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, and all the possible contestants in the primaries for the ticket of the election, for the ticket of the party, subdued and subjected themselves, to the will of the party. So much that every aspirant, every governorship aspirant that bought tickets and were screened and were involved one way or the other in the primaries, at the end of the day, subjected their will, to the will of the party. And every one of them rallied around the candidate, the party candidate. And then more than that, we did an audit analysis of the possible power centers and influence points around the incumbent governor and his candidate, that's the PDP candidate. And we realized that there was absolutely no force, that either supported him in the first term or in his second term that were still with him. Most of those forces, most of those influencers had actually, moved over to either they've moved over physically or they are they have expressed sympathy for the candidacy of the APC. So the APC was a stronger party and better organized. We had more people, getting involved in the campaigns. Don't also forget, if you follow the campaign, they took the campaigns to the grassroots, to each ward. The APC campaign team traversed most of the 190, wards of the state, and that is how you get connected, to the grassroots. And it means that the APC knew how to connect with the grassroots of the state, and that reflected mostly in the election. And then you could also put the calculus on the table. It was clear that the APC was very strong in the northern district, in the northern senatorial district, stronger in the central senatorial district because of the candidacy of Okpebolo, who is also from the central. The south we knew was going to be a well-fought district, and it turned out that even Edo, that we thought would naturally go to the incumbent and to his candidate, people were actually bitter, and they expressed how bitter they were. And that's the result of the Edo local government, an expression, a manifestation of the bitterness of the people of that local government against the sitting governor.
Well, there's also been allegations of vote buying, leveled against your party. Was that also one of the winning strategies?
I am not too sure there was a budget, for vote buying. As a matter of fact, as a progressive party, we frown at vote buying. We, as much as possible, uphold the sanctity of election. And one of that sanctity is to ensure that no voter is induced by whatever means than the philosophy and the ideology that our party represents.
No budget for vote buying. That was a good one. You had us chuckling here. But was Monday Okpebolo's, was it in his favor to not engage with the media, not speak much about his policies, to boycott any press conferences and any other debates that he was asked to be on? Is that part of the strategy that helped him win? Instead, he kind of stepped back and allowed the godfathers to fight a proxy war for them. And you did say that the party united in almost Voltron style. So is this what got the win for APC?
No. It's not about that being the winning strategy. Every campaign has its own character and nature. We have a candidate here that is more inclined towards connecting with the grassroots. Of course, is a serving senator of the Federal Republic, and he emerged senator when we even thought that it's not possible because the state is more or less dominated by the ruling People's Democratic Party.